discipline is one of the basic pillars of human life. In other words, all the memories will be back to his mind, even in his latter life. So there is no question of entering into any politics, and even for that, my time is over.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Great Principles. Great Principles, an educational and interactive talk show that brings together best school leaders of the country. My school days are unforgettable, and in fact, those are the days, the most happiest and fruitful days in my life. I proudly felt that I cherished every moment of my school. Being a Mercian makes me feel proud. Today, I want to thank the man who shaped and inspired me and thousands of students under his leadership. He devoted 14 long years of his life in sculpting my school, the Mercy Memorial School, into one of the finest educational institutes in Kanpur. He dedicated his lifetime to education, guiding and mentoring the young minds of our country. For over 52 years, his career as an educator and mentor started in 1968 in Goa at St. Teresa Convent School as a teacher. The brief conversation with him invited me to see the school not as a student, but through his eyes, the man at the helm. He longed to see the students learn and grow. That is what he prayed for, and that is what he lived for. The magnitude of this hit me in a way it couldn't have when I was student. I'm so thrilled and feel honored to sit in the same room and share a few words with my own school principal. And I feel so elated welcoming Mr. Thomas Titi, former principal of Mercy Memorial School, Kanpur. Welcome to Great Principals, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you are an inspiration not to me, but to thousands of Mercians out there. And this is a small tribute from all of our Mercians to you. And there are a few lines before we start the formal discussion. I would like to share a few small tribute to you, sir. So, sir, with your permission, sir, may I start?
Yes, sure.
You led us so we may lead. You inspired us so we may inspire. Experience victory and defeat, to learn, to build, to grow, and to dream. Your presence was the skeleton of our success. You were a guide, a leader, a friend, but more importantly, a parent. You gave us hope, passion, and power. And that is indelible mark you have left upon our character. A piece of you is in our every being. This is a small tribute to you, sir. Thank you so much for guiding us for so many years. And now I have a small surprise for you. There are so many people out there who wants to give you a tribute, but few I could accommodate. So here is the surprise for you, sir. So I request Siddharth, can you please share the screen?
Mr. Thomas Titi, a man of discipline, a wonderful role model for teachers, students, and parents, a lover of sincerity, honesty, and hard work. His tireless efforts to improve the school and lives of the students made Mercy Memorial School known to the denizens of Kanpur and Uttar Pradesh. His spirit and enthusiasm in sports and activities can never be forgotten. I was fortunate enough to work under his guidance as the vice principal of this esteemed institution, Mercy Memorial School. He taught me the academic administration. What I am today is with his guidance and blessings. I thank and pray to the Lord Almighty to give him good health, happiness, and prosperity.
Speaking for you, sir, is such a great privilege for me. I just cannot express my happiness when I was told that I have to speak about you, how I felt working under you. It is coming straight from my heart that I was blessed that I got an opportunity to work under you as a subordinate. I have learned so much from you. The first thing that I have learned from you is that age is just a number, that you will behave the way you feel. And I hope I carry forward this attitude with me throughout my life. Thank you. Thank you for being our principal. Thank you.
Mr. T.T. Thomas, a gem of a person, a true gentleman, a guide, a motivator, and a fine administrator. Within the campus, he was a very strict person. But outside, on a picnic, he was a jolly fellow. He always tried to make others comfortable. And in case of any problem, you can approach him. He'll give you a proper solution. He's just like a coconut, hard from outside, soft from inside. And now when he's settled down with his family, I'm very sure he's taking a good care of them, guiding them properly, doing his job efficiently as he has been doing it here. I pray to God to bless him with the best of health. May God bless him abundantly.
Hello everyone, myself Tripta Malhotra, a senior Hindi teacher in Mercy Memorial School. Here I got a chance to work under the kind guidance of respected principal Mr. Thomas T.T., a dynamic and disciplined personality. He is a million-dollar man. He is a good administrator and a motivational speaker. During his leadership, Mercy Memorial earned the reputation of being disciplined. It is the result of his untiring efforts that the students of Mercy Memorial are well settled in not only in India but also in abroad. The first time he organized the basketball tournaments in school campus. It is, above all, I can say that Sir is a great successful team leader and our strength. It was my pleasure to work with such an idealistic and talented person.
Hello everyone, this is Amita Agarwal of Mercy Memorial School, batch 2003. Thank you, sir, for all the motivation and support you gave to your students to be a successful person in their lives. You did everything you could to help your students shine. Despite of all the nasty challenges, no one has ever seen you whine. Thanks for being a teacher, so passionate and caring. A very big thanks to
Hi everyone, my name is Khushbu Sahul, aka Grace professionally. I'm student from 2003 pass out from Mercy Memorial School. I would like to take this moment to be very thankful for having Principal T.T. Thomas as my principal at that moment. It's not just the matter of being grateful, but also being proud to have him with all his teachings, discipline, strictness, which has shaped me for who I am today. I'm really thankful to God for that. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Shakti Magga from the batch of 2008 Mercy Memorial School, and I'm here to say that I'm extremely grateful to have the impact of Sir T.T. Thomas on my life and on our school. He's done a commendable job shaping up all his students, and I'm truly blessed to have studied under him. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Seema, for featuring so many ex-students. And it is a golden opportunity that I could see my ex-students. Thank you very much for the same.
So there were, so many of them who wanted to speak up, but even I had the bandwidth to accommodate very few. And we all really love you a lot, sir. So on this note, sir, we would begin with our session, sir.
Yes, please.
So my first question to you is, you are a strict disciplinarian. What is the importance of discipline in school and students' life?
Well, Seema, discipline is one of the basic pillars of human life. If discipline is there, everything is there. Without discipline, one cannot be successful in his life. Therefore, discipline is a must. It has to be inculcated in the children from a young age. See, the character formation and development of good habits and behavior, all these begin in the school. So in the school, children should be instructed and infused the importance of discipline in them. These are all required so that we can have a disciplined society and a very disciplined country. So that is the importance of discipline.
Absolutely, sir. And that we can see, I can personally feel that being disciplined in school, being taught that to me, I'm very organized today. I value time, I value everything. And I even look to make my children, disciplined further.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sir. So, sir, going ahead, sir,
Yes.
in your opinion, what are the most important traits a successful school principal must possess, and should there be a minimum age to be a school principal?
See, decision making is one important aspect of a principal. A principal has to make many decisions in a day, keeping in mind the interest of students, teachers, and also the parents. And the decisions are to be taken sometimes on the spot. Say for us an example, a school bus meeting with an accident or a fire breakout in one of the rooms or classes in the school. So you cannot simply run around, take a quick decision. And also sometimes you have to take tough decisions, maybe hard. It may not be good for the person who is affected by the decision, but the decision which is taken is for the betterment of the school, for the goodness of the school, then it is okay. So in every respect, decision making is very important. And I should say, ability to manage things, coordinate things is also very important for a principal. See, a principal has to coordinate academics, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, social services, etc., etc. But while executing or coordinating all this, you have to make sure that it doesn't inconvenience anybody. So you have to do all this without inconveniencing anybody. And I also feel that the principal should be a person of knowledge. When I say a principal should be a person of knowledge, I don't mean that he should know everything in the world. But at least the principal should know educational matters and also things which are related with the same school where he is the principal. That's very important. And the principal is also very approachable. He should be a man of approachability. Children should feel free to come to the office of the principal. Teachers should not feel any hesitancy to enter the room of the principal. Parents should feel when they come to meet the principal as if they are coming to meet their friends. So, approach is very important. Above all, I should say a principal should be a good listener. You will come across so many smaller children. They will come with their own little small problems.
Yeah.
Middle school students will come with their problems. Senior students. But you should have the patience to listen to everyone. So it is a must quality for a principal. And yeah, these are the qualities
Right.
of a good principal.
Yeah. So according to you, a principal should be a decision maker, a knowledgeable person, an approachable person,
Yeah.
a good listener, team player, a good coordinator.
Yes.
Absolutely, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
So now talking about the age factor.
See, the age factor, what you are mentioning, I do not agree with that one now. There should not be any age barrier, but the person should be well matured, well qualified, and efficient. That's all.
Right. So very rightly said by you, sir. Age is not the certificate of maturity,
Yeah.
and maturity is what is needed to run an educational institute successfully and to provide values and guidance to the students around.
Very sure.
Absolutely. So to all the young children out there, all the young aspirants out there, go ahead, take school leadership if you think you are mature enough. Right. So going ahead, sir. Now, sir, I would like to ask you about, I remember, sir, you used to come to every class also, and suddenly you would say, come on, recite the school anthem. And then I always used to wonder, what is the importance of the school anthem? Why? Every school has a school anthem, and why should students know this? There are so many of us in the country, those who know the national anthem, but very few know the exact meaning of it. So today I want to understand all about Onwards Motions Onwards, the school anthem.
See, school anthem is there in all the schools. And it is very important for a school to have this anthem.
Mhm.
School anthem brings a sense of togetherness, a sense of belongings, and children should feel that they are all one as long as they are in the school.
Right.
And again, you can say that an ex-student or an older person also, in case he or she happens to be hearing the school song of his or hers, immediately he will be having his old feelings and his attachment to the school. He will be remembering the teachers of the school, the principal of the school, his friends, more than everything.
Right.
So a sense of belonging is also there. Togetherness is not, it is there. And I say that it brings back to his memory the old customs, the way he had behaved in the school. In other words, all the memories will be back to his mind, even in his latter life.
Right. I think I got to know something today, very, very crucial, which every merchant would be wondering. that what is this onwards motion onwards. So basically it's something which unites you. It gives you the feeling of belongingness. It gives you the feeling of part to be a part of an institute, and what institute plans for a student, like our school said, let your banner fly. Our school song I still remember, and that is one thing which we all Mercians remember. So sir rightly said, it brings down the memories also.
See, the ideals of the school and also the motto of the school, all these are etched in the school song, you see.
Yeah.
So it is a must for all the students and even ex-students and even elderly people to remember the school song, even if they are at a very old age.
So to everyone, to all the viewers, go back, revive your school song, relearn it and sing together with your schoolmates. This would be so much fun, the school song which connects each one of us. So going ahead, sir, you are an educator since past 52 years, you are into education. So how has education evolved and what will be the schools of future look like?
See, if you take about the last 50 years, maybe about up to 2009-10, the progress made in the field of education, the evolvement of education, all these were at a slow and slow growth, I can say. Development was gradual. But last 20 years, if you take, such a rapid improvement is made in the technology, the teaching methods, etc. Earlier, the teacher used to enter the class, start teaching the children, guiding the children, mentoring the children, keeping the value system of our society. But now that value system has lost. The role of the teachers are reduced. The teacher has become a medium of expression and explanation. But the technology has taken most part of the teacher, but still, I can say the development of technology is very essential. The children now study or learn not as they were doing earlier. And the understanding capacity of the children have improved due to modern technology. Now the children can understand the concept of a particular topic very clearly than what it was just explained by the teacher. So the technology has made a very major role in the field of education. Now you see, I sit here.
Yeah.
And as I am talking to you, I can also attend a class which is being held in USA, maybe faraway countries. And you sit anywhere in the country here, in your room, but without going to the school or college, you can attend the classes. And that classes are going to be more effective. Now you see that this COVID-19 pandemic, schools and colleges, everything closed, it is almost 2 years.
Right.
But the learning process, it is still going on. All the children are attending the classes regularly. Offline classes, no more. So we do not know what role the technology will play in the future. Maybe after 25 years or maybe even more, slightly more than that, a teacher may not be coming to the class. The computer may be the teacher. And
Awesome.
all the subjects may be taught by the computer itself. So you may not need a teaching staff in a school in that case. So these are the things the technology is playing in the field of education. Well, one thing we have to see here, the value system is lost. So what I suggest now, if the technology can go along with the value system of our society, it's very fine.
Yeah, sir, because, computer can do the teaching, but, imparting values
Yeah.
is something which is definitely missing out. And sir gave a very honest opinion here that yes, education evolvement was very, very gradual in earlier 4 decades, but the past decade had seen a transformation. And now teachers are no more knowledge keeper, they are mentor and facilitators. Yeah.
Exactly.
And sir, there is one more thing which we are observing here. Though technology has opened the door, but there is something called digital literacy, using the technology for learning that need to be guided to students in a proper format that use the technology for learning, not for just entertainment and distractions. That part is still missing. We have given gadgets to the students and they immediately shuffle and start surfing something else. So digital literacy needs to be taken up as a syllabus probably in schools going further, teaching them.
That depends the interest of the students and the interest of the parents, you see. If the parents are very careful, children will be able to see only the educational part, the literary part. Okay, that doesn't mean that children should not be watching anything in the television or in the Facebook, etc. But there should be a mechanism to evolve a proper system which can or make anybody to see properly.
Right. So
Unwanted things cannot be as you cannot show this in the Facebook or YouTube or even in the television. So such things should be banned for the children, for the students. For that, a mechanism has to be evolved.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So, along with students, we need to ensure that even parents are aware of the digital literacy part that I was talking about, guiding them how to restrict the controls, how to get the controls. The parental controls are there in applications these days. So it is, a two-way process. We need to guide the students as well as parents further on how to use the technology efficiently for education.
Yeah.
So going ahead, sir, on this note, sir, now, there are so many different school boards in the country. There is CBSE, ICSE, IB, IGCSE, DYP in the country are there. So how these boards impact on the ultimate growth of the child? And do you think there should be one central board, one nation, one board thing?
See, ours is a country of diverse culture and tradition. We have 29 states in India. Each state has got its own language. And children will be more convenient to approach a school which is nearby. So the local schools are a must. And they are taught in their local languages. When a child writes his or her examination, his own mother tongue will be more convenient for him to write. Therefore, the examinations can be conducted in their local boards. So it is I don't say a must, but each state should have their own boards. But at the same time, if we have a common medium of instruction, number of common subjects for the entire country, and also a common syllabus, then you can go for a common board or central board we call for those students. And definitely the medium of instruction has to be the same for all those schools which are affiliated. So there is nothing wrong in having a central board See, at present we have two central boards, one CBSE and one ISE.
Yeah.
But the thing is, both these boards are almost the same, slight differences only.
Mhm.
The ISE came earlier, CBSE board came in the year 1962 or something. So that's not the difference. Earlier, the ISE examinations were conducted by the Cambridge University. And that was there till up, I think up to 1972, 73, something like that. Now it is conducted here in India only. So if these two boards are merged into one, even then it is okay. So we can go for one central board. There is no problem about it. But then you cannot bring the whole population of our country, all the children of our country, we cannot bring under one board because we have the language barrier.
Absolutely, sir. Here, sir has brought in a very, very practical approach, keeping in mind the diversity of our country. It is really, difficult to get everyone under a single umbrella. And sir rightly said that regional language a child is more comfortable in learning because learning can happen in any language. English is the language of expression, not learning. So that is again a very important message shared by sir here. And sir, as NEP is very much talked about these days, I'm sure something drastic is coming again in education. There might be what we dream of, a central examination for everyone, a common syllabus. It might be. Yeah. So now, sir, going ahead, grades versus learning. So shifting attention to what's important, the students have always been obsessed with with the marks. So is it because of educators or is it because of parents that the students are obsessed with exams or is it because of the schools? So what we can do about it to take away this obsession and make students feel that it's not marks that is important, it's learning that is important.
See, learning is very important, but learning need not be for reaching a higher grade. It is important to understand the subject well, the concept of the subject well. And if you understand the concept very well and learn the subject as a whole well, then the grades will come automatically. It will reach a higher grade, so definitely, when the concept is understood properly. You see, by mugging up, a child can reach a higher grade, but it will be just temporary. But a student who has studied, understood the concept very well, he will remember throughout his life what he has understood very well. And parents and the teachers, what they should do is make sure that what the children learned, that they understood also very well. The concept is very clear to them so that it will remain throughout their life.
Absolutely, sir. If the child has understood the concept well, he is bound to get good marks. The problem here is that it has become a rat race. We are fighting for 0.5 marks. We are fighting for 1 mark. And a child is regretting, oh God, I didn't get 2 marks. A parent is pushing, you should have come first in class. Why you came second? So today, this is the scenario of the country. We have to agree that there is so much obsession with marks in the country, and it is very difficult to explain parents also to not to run behind the marks.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, so I don't know, now when I'm seeing the pattern of the companies hiring, they are not very much attracted by what your grades or your certificates speak.
Yes,
they evaluate your skills, how skillful you are. So, maybe as my children grow up, there will be altogether a different scene of judging them, not by marks, but by the skills, sir. So on this note, sir, I will move ahead. Here is a very important question for us. Given now you are almost 76 years, sir, the entire your life you have given to education, to leading schools. So I would like to ask you, what has been your biggest achievement and regret as a school leader?
I don't have any regrets, but I can say that people can make mistakes.
Mhm.
But how fast you rectify that mistakes, that is important. The moment you realize that you have made a mistake, you rectify it. So on those things, I don't regret. And if you ask me about my achievements, I have brought up Mercy Memorial School to one of the best in Kanpur, if not the best. And very many of my students, they are already in the high echelons of the society. And a Mercy Memorial student can be recognized from a group of number of students from various schools. That is an achievement for me. The Masons always keep discipline, well mannered. So that is one of my achievements.
So you have shaped,
Number of them, but these are some of the achievements which I should like to share with you.
right, sir. So this is what sir is proud of. He has built a school, Mercy Memorial School, as one of the best school in the Kanpur city. And of course, he forget to mention that he has shaped thousands and thousands and thousands of Mercians year after year. And we all hold a part of you, sir. You, as I narrated earlier also, you are the skeleton for our success, sir. And this we also owe this success to you where we have reached today, sir. So it's your achievement, and your achievement has been a result of our achievement, sir. So it's like a two-way process for both of us. So, sir, going ahead, sir. So, as you said that you built a finest school in Kanpur city, sir, what, according to you, is an ideal school?
An ideal school should provide quality education. It is a must. And the school should be able to train children to be good citizens of the country.
So an ideal school is, as sir rightly said, the entire goal of school is to provide education and to make a citizen, those who are, a proud citizen of the nation. So this is the picture of an ideal school. It doesn't matter what architecture you have. It's all about inculcating the right education and shaping the good citizen of the nation. So going ahead, sir, this brings to me to the very, very interesting segment of the show. This is called the rapid fire round. Right. And in this, you have to answer in one word only, sir. So, sir, are you ready?
Yes, no problem.
So here comes the first question to you. Should a school principal be strict or friendly with students?
A principal should be able to blend strictness with the kindness.
A wonderful answer given by sir. Next question, sir. Do grades determine a student's worth?
The total worth of a student cannot be determined by any grade.
Absolutely. Going ahead, examination is a threatening term. Yes or no?
It's a big no. It is intimidating, not threatening.
So examination is not threatening to all of you out there who label it as threatening and a biggest fear of yours. So going ahead, sir, what do children need more today? A teacher or a mentor?
Definitely a mentor.
Next question, is punishment good in school?
Punishment should be in the form of guidelines and counseling.
Absolutely, sir. Next, what is a better idea? A boys' school, a girls' school, exclusively girls' school, or a co-ed school?
It is definitely a co-educational school.
Co-educational school. So to all the parents out there, those who are always confused, where should I put my child? Go ahead and get your child admitted in a co-ed school. Going ahead, sir, you have seen generations, so one thing which is missing in today's generation.
Discipline, respect, values.
So there are three things actually that are missing: discipline, respect, and values. And yeah, definitely, sir. Today's generation is lacking that. And I think we all, as parents, as teachers, as educators, need to inculcate these in our generation coming forward. Going ahead, sir. Now, sir, I also know you professionally, and all the people out there know you professionally. Let us know what sir do when sir is not working, what hobbies or sports you are involved in, and how do they help you?
One of my hobbies is playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
And free times, I spend a lot of time reading various newspapers. And when I start reading a newspaper, I make sure that it is fully read. So 2-3 newspapers, especially of political analysis and political news of the country and also some other important countries in the world.
So sir loves to play chess, and sir is very much interested in the politics. What is going on in the nation and around? So
I am a student of political science. Sir
is a student of pol science, right? So, sir, you never thought of entering politics. You're so much keen on the subject. You read so much about it.
Maybe 100 years back or 50 years back, entering into a political scene was okay. But now, I don't think it is so at present.
Mm-hmm.
With all these corruptions and favoritism, now people run for money alone, and money can buy anything now.
Right.
So there is no question of entering into any politics, and even for that, my time is over.
Yes, so you are even today. You are reading so much. You're keeping yourself updated. So right, so corruption has definitely peeped into the system, and God knows when this will also change. Like we saw a transformation today in education. Maybe even the political system of the country gets evolved in coming future. We can hope for this at least. Sitting here.
Yes, we can hope for it. Hope against hope, that's all.
Yeah. So, sir, this brings me to the last question of the day, which is also called viewer's choice question. Now, what is the goal of education, and what would be your message to the new and aspiring school leaders on attaining their educational goals?
The goal of education, especially in our country, is to train the children to be an ideal citizen of the country. And my message to the upcoming students and ex-students, everything, they should be men and women for others. That's my message.
Right, sir, a very short but a very powerful message here. Which everyone needs to comprehend and get the entire insight on this, that making an ideal citizen should be the goal of education. And yes, in our country, we definitely look forward to this. Entire system of education is based on producing globally educated citizens, those who can add to the value of the country and make the country also proud going ahead. So this was Thomas TT sir, my principal sir, those whom I'm very proud of, and I'm sure every Mercian out there is very proud to be fortunate enough to be guided under his leadership. So it was really, really wonderful to have you on Great Principles. You have taken us time for us, and we are really very grateful to you, sir.
Yes, Imam, thank you for featuring me in your program like this, and a big hats off to you.